Good evening. Investigators from the Kingston Western Division are seeking the public's assistance to locate several individuals who have been listed as persons of interest within the division. Now, these persons of interest were asked to report to the Denham Town Police Station no later than today. They are Michael Christopher Coke, otherwise called Titty Man, Romario Powell, otherwise called Worrydem, and Wayne Page, otherwise called Ratty. Also on the list are men who are known only by the aliases Coolie Man, Teddy, Parry, Reddy, Elijah, Chevon, and Peldaro. Now, anyone knowing the whereabouts of the individuals listed is being urged to contact the Denham Town Police at 876-922-6441, Crime Stop at 311, or Police Emergency 119. In a Mello TV news update, the St. James Police have released the identity of the 9-year-old boy who was abducted from his mother yesterday. He was later discovered dead in the rear of her Audi motor vehicle, which was abandoned off the Fairfield main road in Montego Bay. The child has been identified as Gabriel King, also of a Montego Bay address. Reports coming into our news center are that at approximately 11 a.m., young Gabriel and his mother were traveling along the Tucker Main Road towards downtown Montego Bay. It is alleged that the child's mother checked her speed in order to drive through a rough section of the roadway. She was then allegedly ambushed by two men, one of whom allegedly slapped her to the region of her face. It is further alleged that the men grabbed the woman by her neck and dragged her from the vehicle and sped away in the stolen car with young Gabriel sitting in the back seat. A report was immediately made to the police, and following a search of the area, the stolen vehicle was discovered abandoned off the Fairfield main road. A search of the vehicle led to the shocking discovery of Gabriel's body that was lying in the back seat with his throat slashed. Meanwhile, Senator and Councillor Charles Sinclair is expressing outrage and shock at yesterday's gruesome murder of Gabriel King. Senator Sinclair is calling on the police high command to do all in its power to bring the perpetrators of this dastardly act to justice. He extended condolences to the family, friends, and teachers of Gabriel King, and is also calling on Jamaicans to return to the days of protecting the nation's children. Still tonight, a man was fatally shot by gunmen in close proximity to the Mount Salem Police Station in St. James yesterday. He has been identified as 26-year-old Ishmar Campbell of a Montego Bay address. Now, reports coming into our news center are that at approximately 6:15 p.m., Campbell was standing along the Mount Salem main road in the vicinity of the Mount Salem Police Station when he was attacked and shot by men driving in a motor vehicle. The gunmen sped away from the scene while Campbell was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Now, Campbell is the 9th person to be killed in St. James since the start of the week. Still making the news tonight, a woman and her daughter were shot and injured by gunmen who carried out a daylight attack in the community of Shrewsbury in Westmoreland yesterday. The two injured victims have since been treated and admitted to hospital in serious but stable condition. Reports coming into our news center are that shortly after 3 p.m., the woman and her daughter were at a premises in the community when they were ambushed by two men armed with guns. The men opened fire, hitting the woman and her child before making their escape in the area. Both wounded victims were transported to the Savannah Lamar Hospital, where they were treated and admitted. Now, this shooting comes on the heels of another attack where two females were gunned down at a business establishment in the Long Hill area of White House in Westmoreland. As we continue with the news tonight, the Independent Commission of Investigations has launched an investigation surrounding the fatal shooting of a man in Shrewsbury community, Westmoreland, yesterday. The identity of the deceased has not yet been released by the police. Reports coming in to our news center, however, are that at approximately 2:30 p.m., a team of officers were on an operation in a section of the community when they were allegedly attacked and fired upon by armed men. The gunfire was returned, and one of the men was fatally shot during the exchange. The scene was processed by investigators from the Savannah-Lamar Police Department and Indicom's Western Office. Still making Mello TV news, President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Keith Duncan, says Jamaica's crime situation requires the use of emergency measures. He made the comments while reiterating the PSOJ's support for the states of public emergencies. Now, Mr. Duncan, who is also the chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, says the measure should be utilized with a 90-day stipulation for detentions. The SOEs had been declared in St. Andrew South, Kingston Central, Kingston West, Kingston East, Hanover, St. James, and in Westmoreland as well. The emergency measures ended after the Opposition People's National Party, PNP, declined to support the extension beyond the initial 14 days. Mr. Duncan, however, says the private sector lobby supports the reintroduction of the measure. He also noted that while he understands the concerns regarding the powers of detention, reforms have been enacted to ensure the SOEs have a limited impact on those who have been detained. Mr. Duncan says he's satisfied with the reforms made to the emergency power regulations and is therefore calling for the SOE to be reintroduced as a crime-fighting tool. Continuing with the news tonight, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, along with members of the JCF's Market Enforcement Team, demolished and removed illegal structures in the downtown business district of Kingston during this week. This was undertaken to rid the downtown business areas of illegal structures. Dwayne Anderson, the municipal commandant, said that over 20 truckloads of debris were removed in the operation.
Currently, we are conducting an enforcement drive. It's a collaborative effort between KSAMC and the Jamaica Constabulary Force in the downtown business district, where we are trying our best efforts to alleviate the roadways of illegal structures and also structures that are preventing pedestrians and motorists from going about their lawful business. During the operation, which has spanned over a number of days, we would have removed about 20 truckloads of debris or paraphernalia removed from various areas downtown, specifically Beckford Street, West Queen Street, South Parade, and other areas. Whilst conducting the activities, we observed that many of these vendors are extracting electricity from the JPS utility pole. This is done illegally. We are asking the JPS that we have a collaborative effort also, that when we are conducting these activities, we can have the technical support from them to deal with this type of activities.
He also urged the vendors who use the downtown location to conduct their business in the proper way and to adhere to orders.
We are imploring the vendors that whilst we understand that you're applying your trade to put food on your table, but you have to make a conscientious decision that your activity should not prevent the lawful movement of other persons and also hamper them from carrying out their business. We are saying to you, comply with the instructions, comply with the orders. If you fail to comply, we have to resort to using force in removing you from the locations that you are not permitted to conduct your activities.
Deputy Superintendent Foster from the JCF Market Enforcement Team explained the challenges that the officers face in ensuring that the roadways are clear of illegal structures and vending.
All right, there are quite a number of challenges with vendors. The roadways in particular, especially on market days, on Thursdays and Saturdays, we find that the vendors during those days they would take up more and more of the roadways, making it almost difficult for motorists to navigate this space without obstructions. The collaboration, however, has sought to alleviate that to some extent. We are enjoying a good partnership. I think we have been communicating with the vendors in a way that they fully understand, and they are trying. Most are trying. They understand what we are trying to achieve here, and they're trying to help us in making the space more suitable for all who have to come in and utilize the market space.
Is it working?
So far, so good. As a matter of fact, I'm very excited about this particular partnership. In times past, we would have done work to clear roadways. Challenge, however, is maintaining it. However, we have a strategy that we are working on together to ensure that the roadways that have already been cleared, we will maintain it going forward. We'll always have some amount of challenges with vendors, right? However, one of the things that I find with these vendors is that if you speak to them in a respectful way, and they understand the activity that they're carrying out, that it is illegal, most will comply with instructions. Right? So we're taking that kind of soft approach, and we're getting the sort of responses that we're expecting.
And we now turn our attention to tonight's COVID-19 update, where the country's positivity rate has climbed to 68.6% as of yesterday. Now that's with 1,262 additional COVID-19 cases, increasing the overall total of cases now to 108,983. Of the new infections, 781 are women and 481 are men, ranging in age from 20 days to 97 years. A total of 2,915 tests were conducted. Now in tonight's COVID-19 parish breakdown, Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 446 cases, St. Catherine recorded 277 cases, St. James 172 cases, St. Anne recorded 79 cases, Hanover recorded 56 cases, Portland 55, Clarendon 47, St. Thomas recorded 36 cases, Trelawney 34, Westmoreland 31, Manchester recorded 13 cases, St. Mary recorded 12 cases, while St. Elizabeth recorded 4 cases. In the meantime, 3 additional deaths have been recorded, increasing the total now to 2,517. The deceased are a 46-year-old man from St. Catherine, a 79-year-old man from St. Elizabeth, and a 54-year-old man from St. Catherine. The deaths occurred between August 15, 2021 and January 9, 2022. In the meantime, there were 96 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 66,946. As we continue with the news tonight, Prime Minister Andrew Holness yesterday addressed the official launch held for the report of the High-Level Commission on Education Transformation. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness yesterday officially launched the High-Level Commission of Education Transformation. The commission aims to build a world-class education system that is accessible to all Jamaicans. Prime Minister Holness, in his address, asserted that the solution of Jamaica's economic, social ills, poverty, crime and violence, and economic stagnation lies in the education and socialization of our children.
The World Economic Forum, in its Future of Jobs Report 2020, estimated that by 2025, just 3 years from now, 85 million jobs may be displaced by technology. Displaced. So simple jobs are going to be replaced. Simple jobs require simple skills. And if you only have simple skills, you may not have a job. So it is not abandoning people without skills. It must be how we retrain and uplift and change the mindset to get the new skills to take advantage of the many more jobs that will be created. We cannot leave that up to chance. And the present form of our education system will not deliver it because it is not focused on that. There is much work to be done to create the Jamaican with the highest level of socio-emotional intelligence, competencies, and skills that will enable us individually and as a people to accomplish great and complex tasks productively with a growth mindset while managing our emotions in social transactions, to resolve conflicts without violence and deviance, with pro-social and rational attitudes. We must transform Jamaicans into 21st century citizens, creatives, and workers.
Prime Minister said that as a government, the aim is to create a world-class educational system geared towards enabling people to fulfill their potential and develop the skills based on human and capital required for Jamaica to compete successfully in the 21st century global economy.
We need to urgently transform our education system so that our children have the skills to participate in this revolution. If we adapt and transform ourselves to embrace the changes, we can capitalize on the opportunities. However, if we do not change and adapt to where the world is going, we risk once more of being left behind and marginalized. For us to become relevant and compete in the 21st century global economy, we must fundamentally transform ourselves. STEAM disciplines, that is science, technology, engineering, and we're not leaving out arts and mathematics, and coding are at the heart of the global technological revolution. We must truly embrace science and technology as drivers of economic transformation and growth. There are many Jamaicans, particularly young Jamaicans, who embrace technology, consider themselves tech natives and tech savvy. But this is not good enough. We need to make the mental transition from seeing ourselves merely as consumers of technology to seeing ourselves as developers and creators of technology.
He further reinforced that the government must take decisive steps to improve the quality of the education system for all.
We have begun the transformation, but there is still a long way to go. The government has been taking deliberate steps to position Jamaica as a technology and innovation hub, the Silicon Valley of the region. We have recently launched the Coding in Schools program in partnership with the Amber Group and Digicel. Coding will be taught from grade 1 to grade 13 across all public schools, and our youth will acquire basic numeracy, language, and problem-solving skills, which are the prerequisites for coding. We are also moving forward with our plan to build 6 new STEM schools and 1 school focused on the performing arts. The second reason we need a comprehensive review and reset of our education is that Jamaica itself has also changed significantly since our last review in 2014. A number of our deep-rooted societal problems have only worsened. There has been an erosion in the moral fabric of our society and basic norms of decency and civility that once characterized us as Jamaica. A key component of our educational curriculum must be focused on developing the socio-emotional intelligence, competencies, and skills that will enable us individually and as a people to accomplish great and complex tasks productively with a growth mindset while managing our emotions in social transactions to resolve conflict without violence and deviance. As a society, we must stop glorifying indiscipline, law-breaking, and irrational behavior.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Killeen May.
Thank you, Kelleen, for that report. The government is to divest ownership of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, JMB, and its 19% stake in the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPSCO, to locals during the 2022 to 2023 fiscal year. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says the administration has made advances to this end, and it is expected that in the next fiscal year, they will be able to launch initial public offerings for those two. He was speaking during Mayberry Investments Limited's virtual monthly investor forum on Wednesday. Dr. Clark advised that 2 additional public bodies are in the pipeline for privatization, adding that the government will continue to roll out those 2 and others. Jamaicans have to date been afforded the opportunity to own stakes in 2 state entities, Wigton Wind Farm Limited and Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited. Dr. Clark has indicated that the government is looking to do likewise with the Jamalco Alumina Refinery in Clarendon. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.